Good morning, coffee moaners. Good morning on Saturday, the 7th of March. Have you noticed the way I do that as a kind of date stamp now? That's if you're listening on podcast or flapping around and you wonder when this was or when it is. Because one of my frustrations with YouTube is you can be fed a film or a live or a video and it says it was live, but it's now no longer live. And you're like, oh, this was from 6 days ago. Richard Kavanagh. Morning. This war will dominate all of 2026. Do you agree or disagree, Mark and subs? Well, even if it were to stop tomorrow, it will dictate the terms of the rest of the year. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about this morning. Has World War III already happened? We bandy the term around with gay abandon, maybe not gay abandon. We bandy the word around or the phrase or the terminology. World War III is coming or World War III has started. And I just want to sort of reiterate the fact that the converging narratives that are all converging on this particular conflict, where it's happening, when it's happening, how it's happening, who's becoming involved, it has the potentiality, I think, for us to already be in the foothills of World War III, for sure. If we think of what we do know, I don't want to sound like, is it Donald Rumsfeld? If we think about what we do know, then think about what we don't know. Think about what we never used to know. Think about what we've been told we didn't know. And then think about what we're being told. And then think about what we won't know. It's a pretty safe bet things are either potentially, well, I think it's a pretty safe bet things are potentially infinitely worse in very many different ways than any of us can give credit for. AI and lies, says Hutchie Boy. So Trump says he's got new terms. He's got new terms of engagement. The great big what's it? I've got a brand new word, and that word is unconditional. Nobody does unconditional better than me. It's a wonderful word. It has an un at the front of it, and it has conditional all over it. Unconditional surrender. So he wants unconditional surrender. Not surprisingly, Iran has said, not on your Nelly. They didn't use quite that phrase. Iran fighting back, or would the mainstream media have us think Iran is on its knees, incapable, destroyed, got no chance, etc., etc.? Allegations of Russia being involved. I think when you see these stories, and this is the idea that Russia are supplying Iran with satellite info on where American assets are. I think we're all so long in the tooth now. Every single nation's intelligence is involved in every other nation's intelligence. And I don't know if anyone else has seen loads of memes or reels or things pop up, which one would normally kind of scroll past thinking, oh, conspiracy, nut job. What a whack job. But then when you hear people saying things like, actually, those in proper control, and what I mean by this is not necessarily Trump even, but above Trump. I mean, I know, who do we think is above Trump? God? The devil? No, those behind Trump, those way behind even the kind of puppets that run the governments of these countries. When people come online and they say things like they're not interested in countries. They're not thinking of it in terms of countries. They're just thinking of things in terms of one big system of control. I kind of think that's the case. I think I'm beginning to think that I understand what they mean. I'm getting to a place where I understand what they mean. Everything is set dressing. Everything is a mirage, a facade. I mean, I'm not into the idea that that isn't my hand. It's my hand. Do you get me? Afternoon from Dubai. Fingers crossed what the Iranian president said. It'll stop firing at Gulf countries. Let's see. Well, Lucy Kitson, I hope stay safe. Please do stay safe. I think they've been quite clear, haven't they? Iran. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm forever told when children die in schools and hospitals are bombed in Gaza, it's what happens in war, guys. Just get with it, will you? It's what happens with war. I've noticed it's just what happens with war when you take out 160 primary school girls. It's what happens with war when you take out countless hospitals in Gaza. But I've noticed when you hit the forecourt accidentally with an intercepted missile in Dubai, suddenly it's an absolute fucking outrage. The tragedy of this situation is for everyone who's, I'm not putting you in this category, Lucy, but for everyone who's, say, holidaying in Dubai, for everyone who's merely at the inconvenience end, rather than those people who are living there and are genuinely worried about their safety and their long-termism of being there, etc. I just think it's interesting the way we talk about these things in different ways. The collateral damage and the necessarily unfortunate consequences of conflict, which is what, let's face it, Israel has told us for 2 years, as they've killed upward of 250,000 people. And when America, it looks like, has hit a school, and 2 other schools have been hit subsequently, it's kind of, well, that's the fog of war, that's we just have to get on. But it's an unfortunate thing. Of course, it's unfortunate. But when we hit the forecourt of a Dubai hotel, this is absolute fucking awfulness and devastation, and everyone should be reprimanded. And now Iran is firing indiscriminately of everyone else. I just think everyone keeps losing the plot here. America and Israel started this illegal war. They're still trying to argue over whether it's a war, because if they call it a war, there's all sorts of legal problems. But I don't think Trump really cares. He keeps calling it a war. It's an unconditional war. It's a long war. It's a forever war. I love wars. I was the peace man. Now I'm not the peace man. And it looks like Donald Trump has got very, very fidgety on his social medias. He's posted, he's posted sort of computer game trailers of blowing people up. He's done a montage of best bits from Hollywood movies. That's caused a lot of upset. I'm going to show you some of these. They might get pulled down later due to copyright. And in inimitable fashion, I really, really want to do, excuse me, I know Morgan McSween is not here, but trust me, this is a brilliant idea. We need to do one of Trump's films. I love what he's doing on the White House Instagram account, and I want to do something similar. Please, now, if it's not Morgan McSween, get someone in here now and film me, green screen it, and put me in front of a fucking helicopter. Yeah, you're right. That's it. Starmer has tried to create his own sinewy, Pete Hegseth-y TikTok viral video, and it's shit. We're going to show you that. He's got Dire Straits music underneath it. Once again, it might get pulled down, but hey, it won't get pulled down for me if I play it live on here. Make Israel Palestine again. Careful, piano man. Fucking hell. Only the Israelis are allowed to deny the existence of an entire race, country, or religion. Remember that. If you do it the other way around, it's anti-Semitism, naughty boy. Dottie Woozle says they've called it a limited operation, probably taken from a limited company where you're not personally liable for paying back debts if it all goes wrong. You're absolutely right. There's probably all sorts of kind of insurance clauses on it, isn't there? Okay, so I've got a lot of clips to play you, some very odd clips, a lot of rageful influencers. I've got the Orange Man again, Pearl Mania 500, is it? He's back. He's back and he's angry. He's angry. The one who said, you declared war, you declared war. As I say, we're going to talk about whether Russia's involvement, has World War III already started? You know, the issue here with the World War III thing is, I think we're under the impression that in the old days, where there was a sort of formality to things, everyone thinks back to, well, we don't know, most, unfortunately, in my nan's generation, most of those people are dead. But, you know, people like Nadia's mum, who was a child, she might remember it. The moment where they come on the radio and go, this is the British Broadcasting Corporation, the king is, and someone declares, or Winston Churchill goes, as of 1445, we are at war. It's not going to happen like that. There isn't going to be a moment where everyone signs letters and makes announcements and politely shakes hands and goes, yeah, we all at war. Yeah, war. Is that war? Everyone at war? No, where I think this is really dangerous is I think we are into the lower foothills of World War III. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's because it's going to, you know, the direct Iran conflict could grind to a halt. A number of observers, I think the most compelling argument I've heard at the moment for what will stop this war is George Monbiot, who is a journalist for The Guardian, saying something along the lines of, he'll just lose interest. At the point that he looks at the price of oil, and don't forget, the price of oil, I think, Mitchub, you've been stressing this point. If the price of oil goes up, every oil-producing nation benefits. Russia's benefiting, America's benefiting, Saudi Arabia would benefit if they can get it all out. And so consequently, there's, once again, even in the awfulness of this conflict, there's going to be out of vision sort of audited cost comparisons made of, well, this war is going to cost us $1 billion a day. How much are we making on the markup of oil? Then they'll offset that against it, reduce it. Oh, okay, well, it's only $500 million a day that it's costing us. So all of the really rich people who are not interested in nations or countries because they're just interested in wealth and power, they're just going to keep making more money. More and more money because the price of oil goes up. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win if oil prices go up. Where it's not a win-win is for those of us wanting to buy fish fingers, wanting to put some oil, put some petrol in the car to pick up our nan or to pick up our kids from school, all that kind of stuff. That's where it really hurts, but it doesn't hurt them. See? So yes, you're going to hear headlines of, oh, the price of oil's going through the roof. Well, that's great for everyone who's selling oil, isn't it? That's fucking brilliant for people selling oil. Stock market dips like this create more millionaires. Ride the dips. Ride the dips. So whenever the stock market claws back, Trump's lackeys, his family, his team, the American people, many people here, many people around the world in the capitalist world, they're buying on the dip. That's what they call it. They're buying stocks on the dip, but they're buying assets on the dip. You know, and it's hardly a big dip. I mean, it's actually quite a small dip. But yes, do you get me? War. What's the famous line? War. What is it good for? Absolutely money. Say it again. It's moved on. What's frightening is the involvement of AI on the battlefield. Well, Hutchie Boy, that is one of the most sinister developments, or certainly what I'm hearing in a number of reports regarding the strike on the girls' school in Iran. It looks like it was AI tech that potentially took out the school. If you have AI tech, autonomous AI weaponry, this is the most sinister and petrifying thing. And I haven't been able to verify it. Maybe MeTube, anyone else who's kind of plugged into the tech world today. Am I right in thinking I saw somewhere or read somewhere, it might have been Puberty carrying it, the sort of news outlet, saying something along the lines that Claude, which is like ChatGPT, potentially has consciousness? Is that right? Are we literally into Iron Man territory here? Yeah, if everyone checks their pension valuations this week, you'll see a rise. Dimitri, you're sounding dangerously like you're kind of quite excited about the uptick in money that's coming from this war. I'm not suggesting you are, but yeah, there's something deeply unedifying, isn't there, about looking at something like this conflict. And I'm not saying you're doing this, but I mean, isn't there? And thinking, oh, that's nice. That'll make the nest egg a little bit richer. It's like I literally want to take people's heads off when I hear World War III breaking out and people going, so where are you going to go on holiday then? Where are you going on holiday? Oh, really? Yeah, there's some wildfires down there. It's a bit dangerous, isn't it? Oh, really? Oh, I've not been there before. I haven't been for a few years. No. Yeah, no, it's the genocide. Just, you know, God almighty, it's just ruined the planet, hasn't it? But they're still flying. Oh, God, that's amazing. They're still flying there. How long are you going for? A week. Oh, wow. Maybe longer if they cancel the flights and missiles are coming in. Oh, that's nice. Oh, have a lovely time. Let us know what it's like. Send us some photos and we'll join you. Part of me wishes I'd taken up karate because I want to fly through the air and take their neck off. So anyone who's kind of delighted about their pensions going up, equally, it's like, you horrible, selfish, nasty individual. Just keep quiet about it, even if it's great. Keep quiet about it. Anyway, final thought. I just want to play you a clip of Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth, I've realized who Pete Hegseth is. I've realized who he reminds me of. I realized that he is the extension of a fictional character, and I can't remember the character's name, but I remember his face. And when I describe him, you'll know him. In Anchorman, he is the anchor in opposition to Will Ferrell's Anchorman. They're hopefully arriving back today. They're currently at the airport. Nadia's parents are currently at the airport in Amman. Their flight has been delayed by an hour. So do you remember the Anchorman? He's played by the actor who played the prince in Enchanted. That's all I do know. That's Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is that character given power. Given power. Pete Hegseth is that character given power. I mean, and literally, you know, those scenes where he's looking at him across the office. He looks like him. He looks like it. Anyway, let's hear from Pete Hegseth on 60 Minutes.
Personnel in any more danger than they otherwise would be. Well, the Russian involvement. No one's putting us in danger. We're putting the other guys in danger. That's our job. So we're not concerned about that. We mitigate it as we need to. Our commanders factor all of this, but the only ones that need to be worried right now are Iranians that think they're going to live.
Now, hear that sentence. The only people who need to be worried now are Iranians who want to live. So he's not targeting soldiers. He's not distinguishing between civilians and the IRGC. He's not distinguishing between combatants and everyday Iranians. Let's just hear the end of that one more time, just to be clear.
Our commanders factor all of this, but the only ones that need to be worried right now are Iranians that think they're going to live.
Iranians that think they're going to live. Iranians that think they're going to live. Absolutely horrendous. Pete, an arrogant, delusional member of the Thug Club. Hegseth thinks he's a WWE wrestler. He's an embarrassment. He is Viagra. He is Viagra on Viagra. If Viagra could take Viagra, he's Viagra. Now, I know something else. Again, one of our utterly a brain the size of AI. YouTube. I know you were saying that you didn't think this war was going to happen. It has. And I know that you felt that they weren't going to put troops or boots on the ground. But let's have a listen to this. This is Greg J. Stoker, who posted last night.
Never ask you to stop scrolling, so please stop scrolling. It looks like a ground invasion of Iran is being planned for, and active duty military units are now getting deployment orders. The 82nd Airborne Division has been told to cancel training exercises and become deployable. Same with 3rd Special Forces Group, the 18th Corps Headquarters Command, and these GI crisis lines and conscientious objector lines are blowing up because deployment orders for a ton of other units are coming through. And I'm still waiting for confirmation if my old unit, the 75th Ranger Regiment, is getting stood up to Ready Force 1 to become globally deployable within 48 hours. So, yeah, this looks like, if it's not a bluff, all the things are going into place. I, over the past 3 years, have pushed back against, sensationalism with National Guard deployments to West Asia and stuff. This is completely different. These are active duty combat units. So, yep, here we go.
So there you go. Boots on the ground, more boots on the ground. The suggestion being that because some of these units have been taken out of training, they've been put on standby. Not only Greg J. Stoker, I think the ginger guy or whatever his name is also a US veteran. It looks like more and more boots on the ground could happen. I do think I'm trying to work out whether the fact that Congress or American government refused to limit Trump's decisions in this conflict, whether that means he can now have permission to put troops on the ground without seeking clearance from Congress or from US politicians. I think one of the things one has to really and Nadia was live, just kind of, saying hello and telling you that we were going live at 10. And one of the things that really I really struggle with is just the extent to which there is absolutely zero opposition in America. I mean, I know we hear, I've played lots of clips of Democrats coming out of hearings, coming out of session, distressed, upset with the Epstein files, distressed and upset and confused and unclear about what Trump's mission statement is here. But it all feels so ineffective, doesn't it? It feels like a chocolate fire guard. It feels like, trying to dry yourself in a running shower. It all feels next to absolutely useless. So let me, in the spirit of just keeping you up to speed, I just want to play you. This clip is doing the rounds at the moment, just to give you context of where we're at in the war. This is the Iranian president apologizing to Gulf countries. So for Lucy in Dubai, for obviously us with Nadia's parents on their way back, this is encouraging news. He apologizes to fellow, as he calls them, fellow Arab or ally nations in the region, and sort of says sorry for any impacts that they find. Now, the thing that's interesting about this clip when you watch it, Iran is being personified as the evil, awkward, inconsistent, malevolent, nuclear aspirational kind of, bad player in the region. And yet they've come out and apologized. I could never, this seems like, curiously, it's obviously diplomatic. There's obviously other reasons behind it. But you would never get, can you imagine Hegseth having to apologize for anything, or say, even apologizing for, I don't know, killing 160 to 180 schoolgirls, maybe, even if it's AI, it's your fucking AI. If AI kills something, whoever's responsible or owns the AI is responsible. Let's not pretend they're not.
I need to apologize on behalf of myself to our neighboring countries that have come under attack by Iran. Because of the vicious assault on us, we lost our supreme leader, our compatriots and loved ones. Our armed forces, when their commanders were gone, conducted the operations that were necessary and protected our country with strength. We do not intend to conduct an assault on neighboring countries. And like I've said before, they are our brothers. We have to be hand in hand with our brothers in peace. And the Interim Council approved a decision yesterday. That decision was relayed to our forces that they should no longer attack neighboring countries unless there is an attack on Iran staged on their soil.
So the key line there is, unless there is an attack on Iranian soil, or on Iran staged on their soil. So really what he's reiterating there is, if any of these drones and any of these attacks, some of which have allegedly come from Israel, so for example, we have Mossad agents operating in Saudi Arabia. There is the suggestion that a couple of drone attacks on the Aramco oil fields or depots were conducted not by Iran, but again, the false flag thing. I think what Iran are trying to do there is both lessen the heat, try and take some of the intensity out of their relationship with the Gulf states. It gives some degree of kind of, peace or guarantees to people living in the region so that their economies can at the very least stabilize a bit. But he's also still being clear that if America attacks us from any of your bases, we will be attacking those bases. They've said it from the beginning. They've been very clear on this. Now, this isn't to say that anyone caught up in the collateral damage. It's as bad for anyone in a Gulf state caught up in collateral damage from an Iranian strike as it is, though no one is talking about it in the same way, as hitting a school in Iran or a hospital or a neighborhood or killing civilians. Over 1,500 civilians killed in Iran now. So what he's kind of reiterating what we always knew, though the mainstream media in this country and our propagandized government want us to keep telling us that they're irrational, it's indiscriminate, it's disproportionate, etc. I'd love to see how disproportionate America would be if Mexico started lobbing a load of fucking missiles at them. I think they would be incredibly disproportionate. And look, we know how disproportionate these countries can be. Look at Israel and the Gaza genocide. I just want to, I'm going to be showing you Keir's really quite pathetic and weak and ick attempt at being muscular and wary and like a warrior. I'm also going to be showing you the White House's clips in a minute, but I want to just play this clip from Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie, an American politician who has been instrumental in getting the extent to which we've got the Epstein files, gaining some kind of transparency around the Epstein files. This is his commentary on the Iran war and the conflict and the consequences of it and the cost of it.
Make of the scene yesterday when Republican Senator Tim Sheehy helped break that Marine's arm as he was saying we shouldn't go to war for Israel. Did you see that scene?
I saw it, and my heart breaks for that man. Yeah, the police here are trying to keep people safe. I think the politician would have been better just to stay out of it. It's a very bad visual. And it's just a terrible thing that happened.
What do you think? I mean, you talk about visuals. What do you think of the visual of a Marine saying we shouldn't go to war for Israel? I mean, you just mentioned how Marco Rubio suggests as much. For a Marine to make protests and for his arm to be broken by a Republican who's in support of this war, what do you think of that image for the American people who might be skeptical of this war?
It's a bad image, and it may be symbolic. I'm following that Marine on social media now, because I'm interested in what he has to say. I mean, he's a man who served his country, as far as I know, and so I'm interested in hearing his thoughts.
Yes, there's some talk among some of your colleagues in Congress for a supplemental for the war, to give them even more money to carry out this war. What would you say to that?
Well, some people say that Congress does fulfill its role of authorizing a war when they fund it. I would argue that that's an abdication still of our role when you just throw money at it and you don't give the service members what they deserve, which is a full debate on the floor of the House about what the objectives are and how long the war might last and whether, for instance, it's constrained geographically to a region. Then you are not doing your service to the military members who are serving, because they deserve to know, if you do A, B, and C, these are the objectives, then we're going to bring you home and you're done. And you don't get that with a funding bill. It's just more money that mostly goes straight to military industrial complex. And then that's the problem that you get into. You can't, when you put your troops out there, it's hard not to fund them. But this should have been authorized by Congress to start with.
There's reports that the war is.
See, that's a really interesting point that he makes there. Now that all these troops are committed, very few politicians are going to want to be seen to be pulling the rug from under the feet of the troops who've been put into the theater of war. Do you get what I mean? So if the Republicans and Trump goes to Congress, goes to the Senate and says, look, we need more money for our troops, and they were to come back and say no, then it's the decision not to fund them that leaves the troops vulnerable. So in essence, what he's saying there is that Trump and this Trump regime are essentially using American troops and American lives as human shields to blackmail American government into funding this conflict, which is astonishing, really, isn't it? He goes on to just talk about the cost.
It's at least costing $1 billion a day. You can count the missiles in the video. People back home, they're already feeling it in gas prices, and then they're going to feel it in grocery prices, and eventually housing prices and interest rates as our debt goes up. We spent $8 trillion in the Middle East already. This thing could get into $1 trillion real quick, and that goes straight to our debt. So it's bad financially, but it's also, I just don't think we have clear policy of, after we obliterate the Iranian government and the Iranian military, then what? What do you do after that?
And what's interesting, again, going back to, so $1 billion a day, $1 trillion, it could get to $1 trillion added onto the US pile. This is massive. This is massive. And yet, of course, all of those individuals who are invested in defense, invested in the markets, seek to benefit financially, politically from a conflict, they're all okay. It's everyday Joes, isn't it, that aren't going to be able to kind of manage this. Let's just scroll through some of the latest headlines in the British media. So you've got Middle East crisis. Iran's president, as we've just seen, apologizes to neighboring countries as Israel pounds Tehran. Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender as bombs pound Tehran and Beirut. White House releases video promoting Justice the American Way, featuring Hollywood characters. We're going to show you that in a moment. Keir Starmer accused of mimicking Trump with Middle East crisis TikTok post. If they don't stop, Tehran will turn into Gaza. Iranians describe night of terror. Putin helps Iran attack the US. Sophisticated strikes on American forces made possible through Moscow intelligence, say officials. The week that ruined Britain's reputation on the world stage. The minister's underwhelming response to Iran has angered several allies, and not only those under attack in the Gulf. Iran will never surrender to the US, President vows, with an image that we played the clip of yesterday of lots of people with their hands on Donald Trump's shoulders praying. New York Times, Trump demands unconditional surrender by Iran, shifting US objectives again. Now, when they talk about timescale, they are talking about 4 to 6 weeks. And I do think, there's the possibility that Trump could hit the brakes. And unless he struck a deal with Benjamin Netanyahu, because let's not forget, Benjamin Netanyahu is the orchestrator of this entire conflict, as we've been told. It was Israel's first attack that brought America into attack first. So let's assume Benjamin Netanyahu has a folder in his desk of Donald Trump doing awful things and various other people around Trump. He's used that to make sure that Trump starts the war of wars and decimates Iran and hobbles Iran. Two things could here happen. As the journalist George Monbiot, who was on Question Time this week, says, Donald Trump is into spectacle. So could Donald Trump have done the spectacle of war. He's hobbled in true Bates fashion Iran, and he can now hand over the conflict to Israel to finish the job. Could that be the way it operates? And will that be enough? Will he have done enough to maintain the drawer in Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet, filing cabinet, stays locked and shut so that we don't see the final killer evidence of what Donald Trump has got up to with children, allegedly? Could that be it? Or could they be bedding in for a truly Armageddon-style war where they want to tip? They have a vested interest in tipping the world economy upside down and in on itself, in which case they run the risk of losing their Gulf allies. Israel becomes a master of ashes. They become the sort of victors of just an ashy sort of empire of rubble and destruction. I don't know. I mean, for me, the thing that took Trump in has to be something, the compromat that took him in. It's related to Epstein. And part of me thinks that that's the thing that could keep him in longer than even he would necessarily want to be. It's all totally dependent on Benjamin Netanyahu, an internationally wanted war criminal. I mean, if you were writing the cast list for a film, Netanyahu is arch villain number one. And everyone watching the film, it's a bit like a pantomime. It's like everyone with a rational mind or a human heart or half a fucking ounce of intelligence who can scratch their ass and go, oh, critical thinking, what's that? Is looking at this and going, he's behind you, to everyone, to Starmer, to Europe, to America. He's behind you. And it's Netanyahu who's behind them like this. It's so fucking obvious. They're not even hiding it. I mean, Netanyahu goes on American TV and laughs like a fucking villain, like a pantomime villain. It's so fucking obvious. Mutually damaging world economy doesn't necessarily damage US economy. Exactly. That's my point. Because America first was always about US economy first. Israel is also getting hit hard as well. Well, let me play you. We've heard from Thomas Massey. Let me play you this moment from Donald Trump when he's asked about Russia's intelligence supplying to Iran. He kind of gets a little bit irascible here.
It sounds like the Russians are helping Iran target and attack Americans now.
That's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. but can I be honest? It's just, I have a lot of respect for you. You've always been very nice to me. What a stupid question that is to be asking at this time. We're talking about something else. Can we keep this maybe a little bit?
That tells you something, doesn't it? That suggests Russia's got under his skin. The fact that he was posting Truth Social saying we've got loads of medium range, medium superior, lots of superior, we're manufacturing. The thing is about Trump, he's such a toddler that when he stands there with Nutella all over his hands saying, I didn't eat the Nutella, nobody took the Nutella, it's an unconditional surrender. He's got Nutella on his hands. It's like he tells you everything you need to know when he tells you the opposite. Do you get me? It's not even the lady doth protest too much. It's like the toddler has got flour and cake mixture all over his face. And he's like, we've got no more cake mixture left. He reveals everything in the way he responds. So I would argue that, yeah, Hegseth is one great big Viagra pump. Anchorman, Wankerman, he's Wankerman. You know, we would, here's the thing. We would never know how bad it's potentially going for America, how low on munitions they really are, how much they've actually targeted stuff. But let me just play you this clip. Again, the Canary UK, do follow them on Instagram. This is a vox pop from someone who is Iranian and has Iranian family in Iran, not surprisingly.
My family yesterday, my family living in Iran, in Tehran, and specifically in areas where there happen to be lots of military buildings. They've said that things are calm and peaceful, and that is something that has given us some respite here because we're so worried. And even this morning, a CNN journalist was allowed into Tehran, and they showed how the petrol stations, there's no queues there, there's fresh fruit and vegetables available. And to me, it seems that Iran is doing a hell of a good job of defending itself, because that's what it's doing, it's defending itself. And it's it's something that Western media will not show. They'll show bombardments, but they won't show what Iran is able to achieve in other countries, and they won't show how well they are defending themselves. Iran is split into almost 30 or so territories, and each one has their own military and strategic unit, and it's impossible for America to be able to infiltrate those. And the cost of the missiles that Iran is using is, I think, a tenth of the price of the missiles that America is using. So this is a war that America is losing. It's costing them $1 billion or so per day, and all the signals are there. Today, they're asking the IRGC leaders to come and give up, and America, that is, Trump, on his social. He said, if you come up to us, we'll give you immunity. To me, that does not sound like what someone who is on the winning path would do. They realize they picked the wrong fight with Iran. And I believe that the winning side will be on the righteous side. It doesn't mean that Iran won't suffer. One death is far too much. But I hope that Iran and Iranians stand steadfast, and they will soon be able to regain their sovereignty. And I hope for a better and stronger Iran going forward.
You see, this is the thing that I think people here and in our media and in our government can't comprehend, is that you can be critical of the government of a country, and yet the population of that country can still be proudly Iranian and want to have agency over their own destination and their fate. And what you end up potentially doing, and I've seen various kind of, observers and commentators say this, when you take out their religious leader, when you decimate civilian structures like schools and you kill civilians, when you completely pound a country like this, what you end up kind of doing is you drive a nationalism together. So let's look at the situation in Gaza. If you oppress, bomb, apartheid, limit, sniper shoot children, arrest, bomb, control, remove civil liberties, well, quelle surprise, you meet resistance. And then what the West does in order to kind of legitimize the apartheid is, let's characterize resistance as terrorism. And so in Iran, something similar will be happening. This will be a galvanizer. This will throw people together. This will be and it won't just throw people together in Iran. It will throw various other people of faith who connect and relate to the Ayatollah, whatever we think of him, across the region. They will all unite. This will be seen for what it is, which is an attack and an assault, on cultural assault. This is a cultural war. As you said in the comments before me, this is a true crusade, and they're even using that language. So yeah, and I saw a couple of comments there saying, almost like I'm defending the criticism of Russia. Bring it on. I mean, I'm not surprised Russia is helping Iran. Israel helped. Let's investigate. I mean, Steve Masters, who was our RAF veteran who was on the channel a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, he sent me the story this morning from the BBC about the 4 Iranian intelligence agents in this country who've been arrested. Okay, well, while we're at it, let's do a proper flush out of all the Zionist Israeli agents across the UK. Let's explore, rather than just politicians who have connections with Chinese spies, let's have a proper shakedown of all of the British politicians, all of the major media outlets that have strong ties and connections with Israeli intelligence, with Israeli governance, who are compromised by the Israeli state. Why are we only ever looking at, once again, it's now China influence and Russia influence and now Iranian influence? Not to say that they weren't Iranian spies and that they shouldn't be arrested. I don't know the finer details of the story. But where's the same urgency in flushing out the Israeli influence on all our politicians? I'm sure if we were to do a really kind of deep dive, not only on all our senior Labour politicians, but also their partners and their aides, I'm sure we would discover some pretty compromising connections already, Peter Mandelson maybe, to Israel. And what's really weird about this is, and this is where Starmer's shot himself so readily in the foot, he's neither committed enough and he's neither not committed enough. He's tried to be warlike and statesmanlike in a sort of vaguely Churchillian fashion, but he's not done it enough. So he's fallen between both stools, appealing to no one, alienating everyone. Absolutely useless. And what's bizarre is, rest assured, our tacit involvement, whether it be us allowing B-52, B-2, these great big bombers from America to land on our RAF bases, to take off, to drop the big one, as Donald Trump keeps saying, if we're allowing that to happen, we are, yes, you know, Starmer can say, well, we're working with America. We're working with Israel. We're working with Israel. So what are you saying, Starmer? Are we now an ally of a terrorist state led by a wanted war criminal from a court that we recognize as a country? Are you saying we're allies with a wanted war criminal and his state? You can't keep putting a piece of paper between America and Israel in this war. They're one and the same thing. So let me just show you. These are a couple of videos that the White House uploaded to show how sinewy, how warrior-y they are. First one with sort of computer game graphics. Is it Grand Theft Auto? Is that the footage here? You've got him walking along with explosions of people being killed, wasted, it keeps saying, between all of it. Another bomb exploding, another. So what you're looking at, if you listen on podcasts, is what looks like Grand Theft Auto. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. With intercutting it with real explosions of Iranian military assets being blown up. That was on the White House Instagram account and TikTok account and X. And let me show you this. This is another one where Ben Stiller has said, can you please not use the clip from Tropic Thunder in your montage promoting war? This is the movie montage that the White House have put out. Here we go.
Wake up, Daddy Son.
Welcome home, son.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
What will you do without freedom?
Mavericks inbound.
You can't conceive of what I'm capable of. Finishing this fight. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
I am the danger. Time to find out. Maximum effort. Finish it. Here it comes. Now end this.
Isn't it? Oh, hang on. What does he say? Isn't it ironic that he's using a montage of pretty much every actor, I would say, that's featured in that montage for war is probably anti-Trump. So suddenly he's leaning into an industry and a talent base that is anti-him in order to telegraph to the world that this is what we're like. This is the movie madness of us. Someone said the whole thing is like bad fan fiction. It really is. Firefly Speed Shop. Remember, your perspective on this army video will be different to that of a 21-year-old today. That's key. I think many 21-year-olds today will see that as naff as fuck, because I do, and I certainly know my kids would. But I'm now going to play you a clip. So you've seen, whatever you think of them, they're quite gutsy, they're quite sinewy, they've got kind of, you've got Pete Hegseth edited into the middle of that montage. I wonder if this is a bit like Kristi Noem's, 250 million she spent on adverts without really getting permission from Donald Trump. I wonder if Hegseth got permission to have himself edited into the center of that. So just interesting, isn't it? I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. is not happy about that. Ben Stiller, Tom Cruise. Ben Stiller, as I said earlier, has already said, can you not use a clip from Tropic Thunder in your montage promoting war and hate? Anyway, that's American. Whatever you think of them, it's a montage, isn't it? It's a trailer. It's a trailer for war against Iran. Cut to Keir Starmer, get me in front of a fucking helicopter right now. I want to show the world that I am Churchillian, that I am strong, and that I could get out of this fucking gimp suit. Play it. Oh, there we go. Oh. Sorry, let me just hit the
Israeli action last.
Hit it.
Protecting. Our number one priority is protecting our people. And that's why long before the US and Israeli action last weekend, we had already deployed additional military capabilities to the region. to defend our interests.
Oh, I think that'll do it. That is absolutely brilliant. Well, who needs Morgan but fucking Sweeney? That fucking shit is going to fucking fly like shit off a shovel. If Trump can do it, I can do it too. I promise you I can. They didn't even green screen the helicopters properly. Just, I'm going to kill the audio, but just check the shot of the helicopter. Watch. It overlaps. So, do you see that? I think they did that on purpose, but it looks like a mistake. Oh, do you think anyone will know that I wasn't standing on the aircraft carrier looking at the actual helicopter? I don't know why, but there's a sort of edit there that kind of makes it suggest that I'm not. Boat, it's a fisherman's boat, and it's heading there in a week. Fuck hell. How embarrassing is that? It suddenly makes me go, wow, Hegseth, you are fucking mightier than Thor. It's so humiliating. And I'm not talking about it from the machismo of it should be, but just don't do it. Just don't do it. Fucking hell, Starmer. You may as well have dropped your pants and flashed your gonads. What a shambles. What an absolute shambles. I just want to play you this clip. Did you hear about that man walking past the American embassy?
Bastards! 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 Bastards!
If you're watching on, if you're listening, sorry, if you're watching on podcast, if you're listening on podcast, I just had to play this in. I posted it last night. This is a man walking past the American embassy. We have to laugh because if we don't laugh, well, World War III is going to take us all without a last laugh. This man with his backpack on is walking past the American embassy, just shouting repeatedly, bastards, bastards. But I want to meet this man, and even though I'm 21 years sober, buy him a pint. Not have one, I'll have a Diet Coke. But I want to buy him a pint, and I want to say, what's in your backpack, mate? Let's just hear him finish his walk by.
Bastards! 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 Bastards!
What I love about him is he's looking round at it like it's vital he maintains eye contact with the building, shouting bastards. And you can hear the helicopters overhead, probably the helicopters that have just filmed with Starmer not. So I think we need him to walk past every major American installation, American diplomatic office, past the Ministry of Defense, past the Houses of Parliament, just shouting bastards. I think he speaks for all of us. He speaks for all of us. Just bear with me. I'm just tidying up my what do I call this? My control panel. Oh, look. Now, earlier in the week, Pearl Mania, was it Pearl? I think that's his name. 500. He went fucking mental, didn't he? Hegseth for declaring war. He landed again last night. Here, if you missed him earlier in the week, here he is. And then we can see, given that World War III is really, it's already started. The world economy is on a precipice. The safety of all of us is perilous. I will then show you the front page of the Sun newspaper.
I spoke this morning and he said, and I quote, "There will be no deal with Iran, only unconditional surrender," which means this is a forever war. It's a forever war. According to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, it's a holy war. Did you guys know that? We're in a holy war? You didn't know? I guess you guys know this. Holy wars don't fucking end. They're forever wars. The guy who said no new wars, the peace candidate president, he is now advocating and telling all of us, not only are we in a forever war, it's a holy war, and he's going to start another one in about a month. In Cuba, he actually said this. They had a conversation, and somebody brought up Cuba, and he said, oh, Cuba's next. Cuba's next. A lot of people say you shouldn't do multiple things at the same time, but I'm different. We're different. We're smarter. He literally took the lessons of every other crazed dictator, madman in history and said, I'm built different. I can fight a Western and Eastern war. We are so fucked. We're so fucked. And he's the fucking Antichrist. And if you voted for him, if you have that red hat, that's the mark of the beast on your fucking forehead. It's not MAGA, it's Magog. Fuck you. Anybody who voted for this, anybody who didn't fucking listen, fuck you. I'm done. I'm done being nice. This has been, by the way, this has been me being nice to you fuckers. You've killed millions of people with your fucking actions. You idiot.
He's always on the money. He's always on the money. So yes, so the unconditional surrender, circling back before we wrap up of our title. Trump wants unconditional surrender. Iran says no. Iran has apologized to Gulf states. Iran is fighting back. There's the suggestion that our media is only showing us the wins. They're not showing us the losses and the losses. And really the losses are cost, munitions, managing to maybe unpick the strength of the Iranian regime. We've got no comprehension of that. If you want proof or evidence that our media is complicit in this war, is a supporter of, of anti-Arab sentiment, anti-Middle East sentiment, is a prop and a stooge and an advocate for the status quo, American imperialism, all the rest of it. If you want proof of that, don't just look for what the media is reporting, because more often than not, as I say, they'll only report the wins, they'll only report the strength, they won't report any pushback or anything like that. But also look at what they don't feature, which is why I bring you the front page of The Sun today as World War III, as we sit on a precipice after a week of conflict that hasn't ebbed. The Sun reports Oasis split. Not the band, Noel and girlfriend Sally break up. And then across the top, Cheltenham. I kid you not. I kid you not. I kid you not. We are doomed. We are doomed. Does that actually mean there are people who will either buy The Sun or go to the Sun app and look at that and go, oh, that's the news today. That's it. That's it. In other sort of examples of how the news covers it, Real Dom Jolie reposted this, 4 News. War in Europe, Russia invades Ukraine, February 2022. But when Israel does it, Israeli troops cross into Lebanon amid fears of wider war. Language, connective words used in different ways and relating to different conflicts. We legitimize anything that the West does or Israel does, and we delegitimize anything anyone else does. It's as plain and simple as that. And I don't think you can put this genie back in the bottle. I don't think you can put this genie back in the bottle. I think those who've seen this for what it is will never be able to unsee it. It's just a case of, I just want to know how many people there are who will literally buy The Sun today and only think about Oasis. Are there people who will just think of Oasis today in the split? I just can't believe it. I can't believe they will. This meme, just reminding everyone that if you don't like Iran's Islamic authoritarianism, it exists because the US overthrew a secular socialist Iran in 1953 because BP was losing oil profits. Look into the history of Iran. You will realize there is a long history, just like there is a long contextual history to Gaza, Palestine, the West Bank, etc. Don't accept the narrative that the mainstream gives us, that America gives us, and Israel gives us. What they're asking us to do, Israel and America, is join the Game of Thrones franchise 5 series in. It's the first 5 series that you need to focus on, because that's what makes sense of season 5. Do you get me? So I've shown you all of that. Let me just pull in. Oh, I was saying the other day, just finally before we sign off, haven't heard from Candace Owens in a while. Here she is talking to Pierre.
Our foreign policy, and we would now like that to stop.
But you wouldn't disagree, presumably, that Iran has been the main sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East. And that's widely accepted and recognized. They've done it.
If things widely accepted. Now, that's just kind of...
Really? You don't
Israel has been a terrorist state. Okay, Israel right now is imparting a genocide and a Holocaust on the Gazan people. So I'm really over this idea like somehow Israel has the moral high ground and we have to get behind them.
I didn't say that.
We've got to go after the bad guys.
I wasn't saying that.
We have.
Oh, hang on. Look, we can come to Gaza where I think we'll reach agreement about what Israel's government's been doing there in the last few months. Without
But it's
any
relevant.
question.
If you're going to call Iranians terrorists, if they right now had an open concentration camp where they were mass killing their own people, we would all be saying this is ridiculous. So it's rich to me that people are concerned about Iran having nukes. But I'm concerned about Israel, who won't even admit that they have nukes, having nukes, while at the same time, they are executing a genocide and a Holocaust in Gaza that the world is watching. So who's the bigger terrorist is the question today.
And I think the answer to that question is Israel. And Israel are just, they're curiously, I don't know, not curiously quiet, because they're just bombing away, just trying to destroy Iran, bombing away in Beirut. They're just getting away with it. Isn't it astonishing how they're getting away with it? And a final thought for the day. I think the dribble out of those 3 missing emails in the Epstein files that now the Trump regime are saying, oh, it's just bad. They're just trying to sully Trump's name. It's all supposition, accusation, hearsay, and what have you. That's another drip, I think, from those controlling the Epstein files or controlling the information globally to Trump to say, keep your foot on the fucking pedal. Keep the gas pedal down to the floor. Keep your foot down to the floor. Keep pressing ahead with this conflict, because as you've just seen, we've just dripped a few more out. The CIA in America, the FBI, Mossad, they are all inextricably entwined, and they are all putting pressure on Trump. So whilst under normal circumstances, if there was no Epstein-style compromised material on Trump, I think he would absolutely back out of this conflict, say in another 4 or 5 days, going, that's a victory. We've won. We've done what we need to do, Israel. You can go in and do what you need to do. He would say that. But I think the difference here is that I genuinely believe all intelligence agencies have compromising material on Trump. And that might mean that he stays in this for far longer than is sensible or affordable, or than under normal circumstances he would pull out. Anyway, guys, that's your lot. The Curly Cooks is at 11:30 this morning. Very sweetly, Nadia said, we need to factor in a little buffer so that when you come out of this intense newsy live, we don't go straight into cooking. So see you in half an hour elsewhere on the channel for some tasty, delectable food. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for all your thoughts. Keep them coming in. Stay safe, Sandy.